drug muling, and you. Fact or fiction? There's a guy generally aviating right in front of us. Ugh, some people take their jogging so seriously.
Hi, Charlie.
No, that's why I'm running in a suit. I'm high.
Had to go around some weather. Well, you're a little late, but I think we can make it before the committee meets. I hope so. Come on, my car is right over here. Sorry about that. Okay, I couldn't go through it.
John Brennan of St. Paul, Minnesota.
Well, it's nice that the prison has a public runway.
The farthest thought from his mind is the fact that he and thousands of other general aviation pilots might represent a significant segment of the national transportation system.
We feel the need for speed.
Most pilots are primarily interested in how flying benefits them in their own personal and business lives.
The selfish bastards.
Have good reason for contacting their instructors and upgrading their qualifications.
You know, I wondered why you waited so long to go for your instrument rating.
I hope the sexual tension didn't keep you away.
You keep putting it off until weather delays cause you to miss a couple of important business conferences. Then you decide to do something about it. Well, I think as many pilots as possible should get their instrument rating.
I wish I could see that door closed from at least 2 more angles, just to make sure it was closed.
Okay, let's see how well we can do with instruments today.
We'll start with the recorder and then move up to the sousaphone.
General aviation is a catch-all term that just doesn't do justice to the great variety and scope of this segment of flying.
And never again should we tolerate this kind of injustice.
Subject of both fact and fiction.
Did you know that of all the aircraft in this country, only 2% is operated by the airlines? Only 20% are military, and the other 78%
are coyotes and drug
aviation.
mules.
Now that's a lot of airplanes. More than 3/4 of all the aircraft in this country. In fact, all the estimates show...
What is the motivation to make your classroom look like the hollowed-out inside of a redwood?
Hours flown will be by far the greatest in general aviation. Do you know that right now you fly more than 4 times as many hours as the air carriers each year?
No, I don't.
You
Take
have
it
more than
back.
20 times as many licensed pilots. That's nearly 750,000. And here's something else that most people never think of. You
Life
fly
insurance.
out of all of the 12,000 airports in this country. The airlines serve only about 800. That means that the only access by air to the other 11,000...
Dennis the Menace is Jailbird, co-starring Cletus the slack-jawed yokel.
You know, there are a lot of people in these communities that think that you just fly around boring holes in the sky. They don't recognize the fact that most general aviation flying is income producing, and that you are actually contributing to the economic...
John C. Reilly is in everything.
International Airlines, the Valley-bound ICA charter flight to Shannon and Dublin.
I think they're playing that announcement backwards.
Yes, I need to get to Appleton right away. What's available?
Sir, we have a flight leaving in about 15 minutes. Could I see your ticket?
Air Wisconsin Air Commuter Service is now ready for passenger boarding at gate 37.
Oh, and go Packers.
Every day all over the United States, business executives fly to and from important appointments.
In such bustling cities as Poughkeepsie, Menominee, and Podunk Falls.
Some in sleek modern jets.
Unlike this one.
Others fly as passengers in less sophisticated planes. Many pilot their own aircraft. But whatever they fly, 70% is revenue producing.
Ooh, I better check this math. 10.4% plus 17.7 plus 8 plus 8.3 plus 5.5 plus 16.9 plus 3.2. Yep, 70%. The story checks out, everyone.
The federal government recognizes that general aviation is the biggest and fastest growing segment of aviation, that it's capable of making a major contribution to the economies of many cities and towns, that it's an indispensable part of the total air transportation system.
That its ego is fragile and needs constant massaging.
Tie many communities to the rest of the nation. They attract business organizations that want to locate away from congested city areas, yet remain in touch. They make it possible for people to live and work in rural areas that once could offer only limited job opportunities.
Wow, a lot of bail bondsmen there.
Revitalized many communities that otherwise might have suffered from economic stagnation. As a result, many now see the possibility of a reverse flow of people away from overcrowded urban centers. For these reasons,
girl.
the Federal Aviation Administration of the Department of Transportation is devoting considerable time and money to improvements that make it easier and safer for general aviation pilots to fly through the nation's airspace. Over the years, a comprehensive national airspace system has evolved.
Air traffic controller Dennis Haysbert.
It includes electronic navigational aids, airport lighting and landing systems, air traffic control facilities, and all the other modern system elements that safeguard those who fly. They are all available to the general aviation community.
All free with your purchase of Above the Clouds, Easy Listening Volume 1.
Such as flight service stations, long the general aviation pilot's primary source of weather and routing information.
How?
And it includes the FAA's general aviation district offices.
Shiny Foreheads Division.
Including pilot examinations are handled. A major part of the FAA's continuing effort in behalf of general aviation is training of new pilots and upgrading the proficiency of those with more experience.
Ooh, a lot of clocks in there.
Are added to the national airspace system. An ever-increasing level of proficiency is a must for every...
Now look at this thing.
The FAA's effort starts right at the flight schools to assure that the quality of training meets satisfactory standards.
Be sure your pilot is properly greased before putting him in the oven.
The most thorough knowledge possible of the mechanics of flight and associated flying environment.
Wow, it's like Logan's Run.
A key to achieving this goal is the flight instructor. He's always been important, but he's becoming even more so. The FAA is continually seeking to upgrade the quality of...
Well, it's still less ridiculous than the instructor's hair.
For pilot John Brennan, this means thorough training in flight by instruments without visual...
I can't believe I got him to wear it.
Only when the instructor is convinced his student has mastered one step will he permit him to move on to the next.
Humiliating step.
To be sure flight instructors maintain their own proficiency, the FAA requires...
Another shiny bald man. There's definitely a pattern here.
They may do this by graduating from a 3-day flight instructor refresher course.
Is that Richard Lynch from Werewolf?
Free flight instruction performance records, or by demonstrating their current competency to an FAA inspector. The FAA's accident prevention program is another example of the effort being made to increase proficiency and improve.
Helmet hair, patient zero.
More than 80 accident prevention specialists work out of the FAA's General Aviation District offices, putting on clinics and seminars around.
Windy today.
This is a picture of a cumulus cloud, and a cumulus cloud normally to the person on the ground looks like a very pleasant situation. To a pilot, presents a very dangerous symbol.
Well, thanks for leaving us hanging.
Demonstrate, I want you to put this on as we agreed to. I'd like to ask you to all be very quiet because the noise you make might give away his relative motion.
Please keep your roars of laughter to a minimum.
Counterclockwise.
Okay, now put your chin on your chest.
Now put your elbow in your ear.
You're going to feel like the chair had stopped. When you feel that way, please say so.
Now, I feel like...
All right, now suddenly raise your head.
Oh, wow.
Now vomit in this bucket.
All right, you see, you really are. You just thought you had stopped, but in actuality, you had not.
Another effort the FAA is making involves flight service stations.
Give us 2 number 1s and a hot apple pie to go, please.
I want to see if Mr. Brennan here flies the airways well enough to schedule his instrument exam.
Very good.
How's the weather en route to the destination?
Step in and we'll check it.
Okay.
Important changes are proposed to to modernize facilities.
Changes are currently backordered.
To enable them to be even more helpful, and along with other FAA programs, greatly improve flight safety.
To the north and the northwest angle. It's moving eastward, and the cold front is somewhat dry and should pose no problem.
Now your 10-day forecast looks mild with winds out of the northwest at 3 knots and pressure holding steady.
Equally to everyone who flies, and therein lies a growing challenge to the general aviation community.
Guests of general aviation, fact or fiction, fly United Airways.
Share the nation's airspace.
Chicago 7, American 92, out 330.
American 92, Chicago squawk ident, radar contact applicable 330.
Controls and restrictions are now required in many congested
Man, that Kill Bill whistling really got around.
aircraft are safely separated in flight. Flying in these areas requires radio.
Oh, it's our old pal, the goalie from the Mighty Ducks.
Traffic controllers on the ground.
07, Victor, Minneapolis, Coast Control, squawk code 04749 in.
Transponders to assure proper radar identification, and navigation gear to help stay on the electronic airways. There's no question that the skills required to fly in congested areas imposes a hardship on some pilots.
But no more than their goofy hats.
Know that upgrading their proficiency helps
Whoa,
them
John.
use the full
Whoa,
use of the
bank,
system.
bank. Oh, John died.
It's important that the general aviation community address itself to the requirements of the total transportation system. Then, make its own unique requirements known to those who decide how airspace and financial resources will be allocated in the future. Even more important to general aviation today is the relationship between airports and their
Oh, he's filling the cockpit with jet fuel, the little scamp.
Think of airports only in terms of noise and congestion. Forgotten are all the important economic contributions they make to their communities.
They're ungrateful and should be dealt with harshly.
People who fly.
A little leftover Big Lebowski music
Away
here.
from congested population centers.
Aw, that truck is napping.
To entire local areas. A way must be found to demonstrate these points to local citizens and show them what busy airports can mean to their communities.
It can mean OJ at open mic night.
And speak out for the good of aviation.
Oh, sorry, that's Richard Nixon.
Need for more aggressive community airport planning and development. The FAA can help assure the continued safety
They got Nat X to do some light filing back there.
of flight rules and regulations by making certain pilots are adequately trained.
John, as the first part of your check ride, how about setting up a flight plan up to Fargo? And then 9007 Victor, BE 30.
Why do all these people have the same voice?
Air traffic system.
It's proposed off Minneapolis at 1500. He's requesting 6,000.
It's Obama's birth certificate.
And beat the problems that thwart air commerce.
0 minutes en route.
No, really, you could take it off. Your last instructor was just messing with you.
You are needed to help dispel the public myths that undermine general aviation's continued growth and to help separate the fact from the fiction.
This guy's hair, fact or fiction?
Did you do it?
Well, very good.
Yeah. Hey, I made it. Hey, now you can fly. Yeah.
Yep, look at that hair go. I'm starting to lean fiction.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you did a good job.
Wow, this is like the A-Team fleet is taking off. Well, I still don't understand the fact or fiction question, but at least now I have all the answers. And so do you.